Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about, something that I've observed over my decade plus of being in the industry, and that is that branched chain amino acids pretty much were the litmus test that showed anyone who has any awareness at all that most of the evidence-based fitness circles and influencers are just as much con men and charlatan as anyone else, right? They're absolute charlatans also, just like most of the industry. And the proof was how many of them made money off of branched chain amino acids. Now keep in mind how many of these evidence-based people have advanced degrees in a science of some type. They know how science works. Every last one of them knew that there was no credible evidence that these branched chain amino acids worked. They all sat back and watched as I got sued for calling it out. Right? I called out the quality of the research and it ended up being part of a big lawsuit. These people were all aware of that and they continued to sell it. Okay, keeping in mind, they were a decade ago the biggest new supplement being pushed. They were everywhere. All your influencers, all your evidence-based people, all your YouTubers were selling them. Tons of people with masters and PhDs in nutritional science were pushing them in the fitness community, all knowing that there was no credible evidence at all that they did anything beneficial to humans. Like there was not enough evidence to say they were useful. I called it out. They all knew I got sued for that. They continued to push it. When meta-analysis came out, some of them didn't even immediately pull their support. Okay? And I remember Dr. Eric Helms kind of said, when I called him on it later, he's like, well, yeah, I guess that's the problem to being an early adopter in something, because he made money pushing them. He promoted them. He got affiliate stuff off of it, okay? He was one of the many people. One of many. And even he said, yeah, I guess that's the downside of being an early adopter to stuff before there's enough evidence out, that sometimes it turns out it doesn't work. But let's be realistic here. I was able to look at the quality of evidence and knew it was a scam from day one. I called it as such. I don't have a PhD in nutrition, yet I have enough scientific literacy to look at what was there and say this is obviously a scam. Because this type of evidence would not be used to push something if it was actually real. Like this is total BS. Okay? It was a massive red flag. All these people had the intellect and education to know that. Okay? Unless we're going to argue that I am more intelligent than all these people with masters and PhDs in the field. Okay? I don't think that I am more intelligent than them, and that's kind of my point. Yet, I could figure it out. So damn well they could. They all pushed it. Some of them are still pushing it. A product that has been confirmed, not only people saw lawsuits around it for people calling out the evidence, that was a big red flag. They all knew it was BS. A literal meta-analysis came out saying this product does not help with muscle growth or muscle recovery or muscle protein synthesis in any way, not just orally, but even when given intravenously in high doses. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Occasionally, some of them would make joke posts that they know were not accurate. They would show the little memes of, a guy in an Olympic swimming pool pouring a bottle of water over his head and saying this is like taking branched chain amino acids when you have a high protein diet. The problem is, it doesn't have that effect, does it? So what do you mean? Because when they studied it on people in low protein diets, it still didn't do anything either. The only way that meme would be accurate is if a guy took an empty water bottle with nothing in it and tried to pour it on himself. Because that implied, because then that's what some of them tried to fall back on for a little while. Well, if you didn't get enough protein, they would probably boost muscle protein synthesis. Except that was studied too, wasn't it? It didn't work. It didn't help people gain muscle or speed up muscle protein synthesis even on people whose protein intake was low, like way too low to build muscle. It didn't help at all. It didn't do anything. And I'm not going to get into the reasons why, but the researchers pretty much argued and understood why this seemed to be not working. Right? They got it. They understood. Like the mechanisms for why it's useless are even understood. But all these people pushed it. So here's the thing that I would say. If we see all of these people who have made their names based upon being evidence-based and scientific-based, pushed a product, and all of them made money on it, knowing it was junk science, knowing it was bad science. How many of them apologized later? When the meta-analysis came out, how many of them actually got up and said, a lot of them just pulled their support. None of them got up and said, you know what, I'm sorry, I got greedy, I jumped on the bandwagon because these other people were promoting it and I knew better. None of them apologized. Out of all these circles. So then what does that tell you in general? That all these circles, all of the people they do business with, all of their extended groups, their word and their integrity for selling products is worth nothing. You know, people love to hate on me and bash on me for different things. And I'm certainly far from perfect. I've certainly made my share of mistakes. I've never ripped people off. I have not knowingly put my name behind products for sale that I knew were a scam. I made a little bit of small money for a short time promoting general supplements, and I was mostly just promoting the protein powder, which I still promote protein powders. In fact, I pulled that. I ended my affiliation when I found out people were still buying too many products using my affiliate code that were junk products that I told people not to buy. I was uncomfortable with that. People made me aware of that. They called me on it and kind of asked me, you know, how's that sit with your integrity? And I'm like, it doesn't. And I had to quit. I quit using that affiliate link at all. Why? Because people were buying worthless products with my endorsement and I was making money on it, and I wasn't comfortable with that. And I told people, hey, I'm quitting this. And these people didn't do that. None of these people even apologized. And I didn't actually promote garbage products. I told people not to buy the garbage products. They still did it. And I still made money when they did it, which was my problem. Which is why I said, no, let's not do this. And I'm far from perfect. So if these people were all willing to do this and continue to do it, never apologized, the whole evidence-based thing is a scam. This industry is dirty from top to bottom.